Okay, that's a good question. So yeah, I guess what drove me to study Shiatsu was I guess it was more of a way to complement the work that I already do. So I'd come away with the beginnings of understanding plant spirit healing, and because of the work that I did with plant spirit healing through self-selection, I ended up reading a lot of books on the 5 elements, and I was like, that I want to know more about the 5 elements. And then I knew more about the 5 elements, and then that took me down the route of Shiatsu, and like that, okay, I need to be able to understand how I can combine my plant spirit healing with the 5 elements, and then with the Shiatsu. I guess because I work with dogs, I look at dogs as ecosystems, right? So it's looking at how do we provide stability for the dog as an energy system, which is what any life form is. And I like to offer therapies that use a variety of all the senses. So we have plant spirit healing that I guess looks at the dogs supports the dogs from an energy system perspective, but on taste and also touch, but largely smell, a little bit of taste, and sensors that work on acoustics for a form of healing. But of course, touch is so important. Touch is so important for our dogs. It's when they're born, they can't see, they can't hear, they can't smell. So I class it as like an indigenous blueprint. They have an instinctive blueprint to know that when they're born, they're receptors, they are drawn to find warmth from mother. So having a form of therapeutic touch is actually so important for stabilizing and supporting our dog's ecosystem, and also providing an element of healing with that as well. The school that I've studied with, it's going to take you a minimum of a year to really understand it. I mean, I know there's kind of like these crash courses, like, you can do an intensive. For me, I did an intensive, so I did all the theory, but it doesn't mean to say that I know it. So I did an intensive where okay, I know the theory, like I've been through the theory, but I don't know it. So I would kind of say a minimum of a year. I'm bringing it in with the work that I already do. So I'm kind of self-employed and full-time. And for those of you that are self-employed and full-time, you are not only kind of like CEO and manager and secretary and receptionist and accountant and chef and everything else. So I'm slowly, for me, my alignment and resonance with the Shiatsu is learning more about the 5 elements and the points and the meridians. So definitely the meridians, rather than more so. I would say I'm working with the points and the meridians more than what I am in terms of actually providing kind of the stretching and working with the myofascia. I don't. That's good. It's important, but that's not what kind of aligns with the way that I work. But certainly with the meridians and the points, but. The points, man. Learning the points. Whew. Yeah. So for me personally, I do both. So absolutely, Shiatsu has its place for support across the dog, as I say, as an ecosystem. So emotionally, physically, physiologically, spiritually, and even from a nutrition perspective, we've got digestive discomfort. That's I don't know about the equine industry. I would, because I'm canine, I'm not equine, although I am inclined to say even for the equine industry it is more physical rather than emotional, but it's something that is kind of trickling down into the canine Shiatsu industry, but it's certainly at the moment still very, I guess, more clinical in that sense, of it's kind of used more for physical therapy. I have, it depends. So I have some vets that are respectful of me as a practitioner and respectful of me, of my knowledge and my background and my qualifications. And they don't necessarily have a knowing of the subject or necessarily want to have a knowing of the subject, but they see a difference in the animal. I have some other vets notably holistic vets that, I guess, holistic vets that have already studied acupuncture, so they already get the point, they understand the acupressure, they understand the meridians, they understand the dog as an energy system, so that, yeah, they're much more supporting. And some vets really, through fear, you know, I'm not one to knock anybody. It's all a matter of learning and educating and teaching. So through an element of fear of kind of, they don't understand, they haven't got a knowing of the subject. So therefore the fear is, well, the likelihood is you're going to cause pain, or you're going to cause injury. I know nothing about it, so it's not a medicine. I'm not taught in it, so no, you can't use it on this animal that I'm treating. So yeah, a really eclectic mix, really. I am swayed more that I'm working with those dogs that it's more emotional rather than physical, because I don't, for me personally, as a practitioner that looks at wellness, I have a much bigger interest in looking at the dog as a whole ecosystem, rather than focus on one location, looking on like a localized limp, or a localized lameness, or a localized conformation or compensation in the body. I'm looking at the dog as a collective. So in that sense, I tend to get dogs that people go, we've tried everything, we've kind of been told to come to you, so we're going to come to you now. The legal aspect is that if we are doing shiatsu, and if we're doing hands-on, so we can do hands-off, working in the energy system, but if we're doing hands-on, then we have to get vet consent. We don't have to get vet referral, but we have to get vet consent. Otherwise, we cannot physically kind of lay our hands and manipulate the dog's physical body. But hands-off, we can work within the energy system. And we don't need vet consent